Yo, what's up? I am glad to be back. It's a beautiful Saturday. I am your host, Barz Nice, and you are now tuned in to Live Wire Radio. Let's spin the block today, right? And chop it up with some Gen X perspective and some, talk about, a lot of the things that are being talked about right now. We're going to get right into it. Ageism in hip hop. It's a big topic right now. So we're gonna spin the block. So everybody, we don't have a car today. We got a bus. So I need all y'all to get in. You can tune in at live.wire 804, Facebook at live.wire 804, Instagram LWR 80401. That's our YouTube, right? And you can check us out also on Live 365. Right on the radio side, if you're tuning in, you know what I'm saying? If you can't listen, watch us and tune in on these social media platforms, you can get us on the radio side, you know what I'm saying? If you're riding in your car or whatever. But get in the bus with us today. Call in 804-495-1917. We're going to talk some things from the Gen X perspective. How technology, has work ethic changed? Or has technology changed the way that we work? A lot of people will say technology changed the way we work in the sense that it made a lot of people lazy because you don't have the things that we used to have to do to get things. It's made so much easier by the push of a button. It's like a two-edged sword, because the reason why I say that, because for some people like creative, it made things easier. In the past, and especially in music, it wasn't a push of a button and you can have your music uploaded on the site on multiple platforms and such. You had to get out. You had to have a street team. You had to have a bunch of people, on your side. You had to post your posters, your flyers, and everything was hand to hand, pretty much from the artist to the consumer. At once upon a time, when it came to promotion. Like when you hear stories like, I had the pleasure of talking to the legendary Shirley Pearl from Sequence, and she explained how they went gold in like 3 weeks with Funky Right On Up, because, they got out there and they hit the streets. They had a street team. So, hip hop is one of those cultures that it started from the grit, the street. It was gritty. It came from South Bronx. It was a lot going on. I mean, there's multiple documentaries about what was going on with the housing, front in the Bronx. They were burning out the houses. It was rubble, particulate matter all in the air, all types of stuff. Well, this is where hip hop was born out of. It was raw, authentic, and as time went on, it seems as though the industry has infected it with what's new, what's trendy, and it basically chasing a paycheck. So I want everybody to tap in, and then just give us their perspective on what they feel and how they feel about, ageism in hip hop. So before we, get deep into it, what I would like to do is get into this joint produced by my man Bully Boy, Bully Camp North, and of course on the microphone, yours truly, is called Barz Block. Right here on Live Wire Radio. Let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up, Bully, man? You hear these niggas, man, popping all this shit, man, about, man. Fuck these niggas, man. I'm gonna let y'all know what time it is, man.
Okay.
This is my motherfucking block.
Bars nice in your metropolis. I bang bars like Club LA. But watch me rock it this. Don't mistake my confidence.
What up, y'all? Y'all tuning in the back? Right now on the radio side, we playing this joint by yours truly, Barz Block, produced by Bully Boy. In the building with my man B. Mumphrey. We chilling. on this illustrious Saturday. At live.y804, that's our Facebook feed. On the social media platforms at live.y804, Instagram social media platform, and live 80401, that's the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. We having that conversation today. The Gen X perspective, ageism in hip hop. Is hip hop ageist, or did the industry just infect it with what's trendy, what's new? They're chasing dollars and cents. Whereas people who were there, we kind of value it more, and we hold it dear to heart more just for the authenticity of it. Or is it a taste thing? You know how, like, when we were coming up, the people before us, right? I ain't gonna say we didn't have a taste for it, but it was different to us because that's what they knew, that's what they came up with, But that was real music. But at the same time, it's safe to say a lot of that music shaped us as artists who we are today. You know what I mean? Because, like, we got a lot of things, and the thing about it, we're gonna talk about that when we get back on the radio side. About one of the things I feel is the reason why it's this ageism shit and everything is because the respect level. Other genres don't go through this. Tap in on the comments. The phone line is not, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to take no calls today. I want to, comment. Yo, we're back and live and direct on Live Wire Radio. I'm your host, Barz Nice on Barz Block. Everybody, like I said, we don't have a car today. We got a bus. I want everybody to get in the bus, get in on the comments. Let's talk about this thing, ageism. Is hip-hop ageist, or did the industry just infect it with what's trendy, what's new? They chasing a paycheck. One of the things on the other side, what I was saying was that I feel like the respect level, right, was lost. This is the only hip-hop is the only genre of music where it gets disrespected or saying people are too old. Jazz, rock and roll, all the other genres of music, the respect is still there. Why is it prevalent in hip hop though? Why? Why is it prevalent in hip hop? I want somebody, I want some other perspectives. I want the Gen X perspective. Get in on the comments. We are on live.wire804 for Facebook and live.wire804 for Instagram, LWR80401. That's the YouTube. Get in on the comments, man. Let's go. Let's talk about this, man. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Where y'all at? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the fact that the lyricists, right, the more elite get less platform exposure. Why? Well, I know I'm moving real fast, but it's a shift happening there though, right? Because a lot of the legends, pioneers, people, what they're doing now is they are providing their own platforms. Shout out to people like LL Cool J, who was giving many artists a platform, man, on Rock the Bells. That's what's needed to be done. Shout out to Richmond, Virginia, and all the other places, other people where they champion the culture, man, and they keep it in the eye of the people. They keep what's really authentic, what's real in the eye of the people. And they keep it the way it was kept by the pioneers and legends. Shout out to everybody that's providing a platform for those legends and pioneers, man, to still be heard. All of our pioneers and legends are still relevant today. They still putting out music. They still putting out music today, right now. Nas is still here. AZ is still here. A lot of our greats are still here. Some have passed on, but a lot of people also in the industry, right? They don't value talent anymore. It's not about the talent anymore. Shout out to Tamika Leslie of the team. You know what I'm saying? Live Wire Radio. She says it's not about the talent for real. It's more about it's a business. And you're absolutely correct. The music industry has branded rap hip hop as a trendy genre. What's hot now at the time? You know what? You are so right. You're so right. And about that branding part, you know, they use hip hop to to brand. If you go back in history, Tamika, and if you remember, the first non-athletic entity to be endorsed by Adidas, I want to say was Run DMC, you know, and then I mean, look, as it went on, the hip hop culture began to because we took a lot of the things and made it our own. We took brands that maybe weren't so popular and made them popular. Grand Puba, it's safe to say that he made the polo shirts, the rugby shirts, the jeans, Maurice Malone, the Tommy Hilfiger, all that. You know what I mean? He made that big in that era. You know what I'm saying? That was big. As a whole, hip hop. The fashion side. We're intertwined in all facets of. Grandmaster Cass said this. He said that hip hop, it didn't invent anything new, but it reinvented everything, because we're intertwined in all facets of society today. Hip hop is. When you talk about ageism again, right? You can't say, like, as far as like the fashion side of ageism. No, everything that most of the millennials have today, and most of the people after the hip hop generation, you have it can't. It's still us. It's still us. You know what I'm saying? We gave that to y'all. So I mean, I don't understand why the respect is not there. I think that's a divisive mechanism that's planted by, what I'm saying, the industry, man. It's another one of them things, man, to just keep us at each other. I mean, y'all too old. But if you look at let's just look at the demographics of the music scene right now. Anybody chime in and correct me if I'm wrong. Griselda, Conway, and them brothers, right? They're not saying what their age is, but I'm pretty sure most of them are probably in the like 40s. You know what I mean? So a lot of people over 40 and over, we still making dope music. But it's because what we did was we understood, right, the lanes before us. You understand? We respected the lanes before us. There's no society that is going to be successful. If you go anywhere in the world, right, what is the number one thing in any culture? Religion, respect. You go to some countries, man, and disrespect your elders, man, you get your face knocked the hell off. It used to be a thing with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, bully, B, we growing up back in the day, man, you better watch what you say in the house. Just sometimes saying the wrong word in your house. You know what I'm saying? But moving along, right? I got some, this is the platform again, Live Wire Radio, man. Shout out to my team, man. This is that team with the spark, and like I said, we definitely keep the pioneers, legends in the car, on the block, and also the indie artists, because that's what we do. We're here for each other. So with that being said, I'm gonna get into this next joint, right? This is off the Lord's Grand CD that's on all major platforms. It's by B.I. Self, right? Brian Daniels. You can find him on Facebook, Brian Daniels. But B.I. Self. But this is a feature on his that I like. It's called Blind Girl B. And it's produced by no other than my man, Rhythm Shack Spade. Yeah, I like this one. What's up, y'all? Everybody in the bus, if you're on the bus, man, like I said, we talking about the Gen X perspective and ageism in hip hop. The fact that a lot of the things that are introducing to hip hop, where did it come from? Ageism, where the hell did that come from? All of a sudden, jazz, like I said, jazz artists, rock and roll artists are not met with that. You know what I mean? That same type of same type of bullshit.
Hey, Barz, tell
Yeah.
everybody to watch the live so they can see the comments.
Where everybody chime in. Live dot wire 804 Facebook. Live.wire 804 IG.
Yeah,
LWR 80401. That's the YouTube.
yeah.
Get in the comments. Get on the bus. Get in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We want to hear the Gen X perspective. Again, I'm gonna say that for y'all. Live.wire 804 Facebook. Live.wire 804 IG. LWR 80401. That's the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Get in the comments. What up, y'all? We are back live and direct right here on Live Wire Radio. I'm your host, Barz Nice. We're spinning the block on the bus today. Everybody get on the bus, get in the comments. Again, I say that for the people listening in on the radio side. If you want to get in the comments at live.wire 804. That's the Facebook at live.wire 804. Instagram at LWR 80401 YouTube. Shout out to everybody out there, man, that is enjoying their day. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We're talking about the Gen X perspective today, ageism, right, and just the different things that plague the industry, hip hop, the culture. Why does it? Older artists. Shout out to Tamika Leslie, right? She's on the bus with us today. Shout out to Tamika Leslie. Shout out to Quantum Q. They in the bus with us today.
So we got a comment from Tamika. She said older artists should think of using that to their advantage. Create platforms and ways to bridge the gaps.
Right, exactly, and older artists definitely. You're right, to bridge those gaps. I mean, I think it's being done. I think the shift is happening now. Tamika, right now, a lot of artists are working, to that. I like how Nas does. You see how Nas and other artists, I mean, the respect level. We got to get the respect back. The respect. We always hip hop in the beginning. We always respected other genres. Hip hop and punk rock was kind of like synonymous because they was both kind of like on the same wavelength as far as the message and what was being said. So the respect level. You know how hard it is to do this music thing. I don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is for artists, man, in this music thing. Some artists have, some of us have families, right? All types of. We still live life just like everybody else. You know what I mean? But we're creatives, so people don't really understand how hard this thing is, man, and what people put into it. The money, the time that's invested into their artistry. For people to just write it off it's not a simple process, and the artist deserves more respect than what they get a lot of times. I mean, I kind of think we should kind of get back to gatekeeping too. So let's get into the bus, man. Who's in the bus with us though? We got some comments.
Yeah, we got some comments from Quantum Q. He said, "Big up." He also said, "Platforms like Rock the Bell."
Yes, right. Rock the Bells. Exactly. They're doing that. Rock the Bells is actually doing just that. They are putting artists on their platform. I mean, you have DJs, breaking music for indie artists. You got a lot of the legendary pioneers. They have their platforms. So, that is one platform that is definitely doing a great justice. Shout out to Rock the Bells, LL Cool J, and everybody over there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But one of the things I like to mention is that Tamika, you said the older artists you use, but also one thing about I think too, one of the factors in this thing with the industry, a lot of the industry they trick a lot of the younger artists into them 360 deals and shit. The older artists now, we figured out the business side of shit, So that's why another thing why they don't want to rock with us, and when they want to create this divisive mechanism. I just seen a post. Matter of fact, I don't know anybody else see this post. It was on Facebook. A young lady said the older artists they should sit back and let the young artists sort of shine. And I like Big Sty's answer. Shout out to Big Sty, legendary Big Sty, RBA. You know what I'm saying, my man. He said the problem is if you're looking in the mirror and you don't see nothing shining, the problem is the person in the mirror is you. You might not just be dope. You know what I mean? So don't say somebody got to sit down, because we never did that.
Yeah. We stood up.
We stood right. We stood exactly. My man Bully said we stood up for them to stand up. Exactly, and that's exactly how that went. But moving along, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get into this joint, man. This right here is one of the joints by my man, myself, Bully Boy, and as I mentioned earlier, the legendary Big Sty.
Wait, get it!
Right, produced by Bully Boy, Bully Camp North. This is Gorilla-ish right here on Live Wire Radio. Let's go. Yo, LWR 80401. That's the YouTube. Get in them comments, y'all, or get in them comments on at live.wire 804 on the Instagram, and then you got live.wire 804 on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Facebook and Instagram are the same thing. At live.wire 804. Get in the comments. Get on the bus. Let's talk about it. Where y'all at? This is the Barz Block Show. I'm your host, Barz Nice the General, and we're talking about the Gen X perspective and ageism, in the industry. The industry, it don't choose skill, it chooses trends and paychecks. That's a fact. What's trendy? When we get back on the radio side, I'm gonna give y'all this story. It's a true story. Bully probably gonna laugh because he know I'm the story king.
Yeah. For sure. You don't be caps though. You don't be capping.
No, I don't be capping. Yeah. And he know where. And the thing about it, Bully know where I get it from because he's seen it.
And then on the whole block.
Yeah. He been around my pop, So.
I mean, Pop got a story for everything.
Everything.
It's like, oh yeah, it reminds me of time when I was like, dang, Pop, I
Yep.
see where he get it from.
Yep. Oh yeah, my wife Annette Vidal Sharp, I love you. Happy anniversary. This is our anniversary week, and I know you be watching. You know what I'm saying? Happy anniversary. You know what I'm saying? Been together 9 years now. So no, 11. My fault. Let me get that right before I get punched in the face. I had to get that number right. You know what I mean?
You still got in trouble because you still messed up.
I know it, right? I'm gonna get some flack. I should have knew that, right?
You can't go back and pick up a fumble and keep running if the other team has touched it.
Oh wow. Yo, get in the bus. Live.wire 804 Facebook. At live.wire 804. Everybody on the backside. Get in the bus, man. Get in the comments. Let's talk about it. Man. The Gen X perspective. What up, y'all? We are live and direct. I'm your host.
Yo, this is Butters. Super shout out to Barz Block with Barz Nice on Live Wire Radio. LFG.
Yo, you heard that. I'm your host, Barz Nice, the General on Barz Block on Live Wire Radio. We are talking about the Gen X perspective. As I was mentioning on the social media side of things, right? And we were talking about the industry doesn't chase skill, it chases trends and checks, right? So, I'm about to tell y'all a true story. Back in the 90s, when I was really chasing, I won't say chasing, but I was really, running hard. Like, I was running back and forth to New York, and, we would take demo tapes to this company and that company, and constantly just, just face a lot of rejection. Not because we wasn't dope, but because we just didn't know a lot of things like about having a cleanly recorded production. I done had, and I'm not ashamed to say it because criticism is one of the things you must be able to take in this shit. But anyway, do we got somebody in the bus, B?
Yeah, we got Quantum Q with a question. He said, can you break down what a 360 deal is? How did your conversation with Russell Simmons change your trajectory in hip-hop?
The 360 deal is kind of like they give you an advancement up front. They give you, say for instance, we're going to give you $1.5 million. But what they're not telling you is that you got to pay that shit back. You see what I'm saying? You got to pay that shit back. They're gonna, take that out of sales and everything. You're gonna get a check. It's gonna be like the salary of a doctor or something, some bullshit that happened at TLC, right? Even though that's not a hip hop group, but
it happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
You get that $5 check.
Yeah,
You'll be wondering where it went.
So you better take that 1.5 million that they give you and invest it very well. You know what I'm saying? Because that 360 deal, when that money run out, you're gonna be a broke ass.
You're gonna be broke. Owing.
So, but so Russell Simmons story, that's where I was going. Thank you, my man Q is in the bus with us today. So anyway, one of the stories, right, true story, it was me at the time, my man Jimmy White, James White, aka Jimmy, aka Junaid, right? My man Father Syfe, from this is my crew in Delaware, and a few other people that was along the ride, right? We went to Def Jam. My man Jimmy is so smooth, right? He talked us into a meeting with Russell Simmons. We get in the meeting with Russell Simmons, and he says, well, I like the concept. I mean, I do, but at the same time, it sounds like shit, because, your production is shitty. I said, okay. But, I took that on the chin. But what he said next, I didn't take it to the chin. And then he was like, at the same time, he was like, make a song about your dick.
Wow.
And then come back. This is how he said it. Make a song about your dick. With that hard New York accent. I'm looking at this man like, what?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized then, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
That's
yeah, he said that. Make a song about your dick and then come back. So, that's where, it was already going that way then. This is like in the early 90s, I'm a second generation hip hop artist. I grew up listening to X-Clan, BDP, Public Enemy, you name it, all the conscious groups, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when I heard him say that, I'm like, well, damn, where are we going with this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, industry ain't looking for talent. They ain't looking for, and the industry, they want to sell. Another thing, you be having the rooms full of investors. We don't want to market that.
Right.
That don't sell. See, the older people, the problem was a lot of times the older people, man, we wanted the authenticity part of it.
Yeah.
Because for some of us, like I just seen a joint where LL was talking. He was like, a lot of people made contributions to hip hop and they ain't make $1 million, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Saw that, yeah.
They ain't make $1 million, but they made a contribution to hip hop.
True.
Because they loved it.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm just kind of thinking about how, like, our parents and grandparents always be like, you see something in the store that you really want.
Yeah.
And then be bad for you, and then you get it, and like you don't even want it no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like what the industry is like to the artists. It's like we want to get there, and then it's like when you get there, it's like I don't want this no more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see it a lot.
Like that's how it's,
you see, bro.
like,
you're absolutely right. B Mumfrey, my man, B Mumfrey, Live Wire team. Shout, he's B Mumford, man. B Mumford, man. You see, I went right over there. B Mumford, right? All right, I'm good. All right, I'm good. All right, look. I want to make sure I'm good, man. I'm Gucci. right. Be Mumford, right?
Yeah, Mumford.
He said it's kind of like a thing. Well, y'all heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to repeat it. But what do y'all think about that? Yo, we got anybody else in the bus, man, with us today? Yo, before that, though, Live.Wire 804 Facebook, Live.Wire 804 Instagram, and LWR 80401 YouTube. Get in the bus, man. We're spinning the block on the bus today. We need all y'all to get in it on the bus. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, beep beep. You know what I'm saying? Get in. You know what I'm saying? We got anybody else on the bus with us today, man? I thought I seen somebody.
We got a couple more comments. First of all, Quantum Q said happy anniversary.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You know, definitely appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
Then we got Sugar Meat.
Sugar Meat.
Many
Sugar
music
Meat.
execs have and still are predatory and manipulative.
That's true.
That is true.
It's easier to mold the young and hungry.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Shout out to
me.
Sugar
Yo,
Meat.
that's it right there. That's it right there. Thank you for getting in the bus. That's it right there. You heard that right there from somebody who knows. They know. You know what I mean? Because that is exactly what happens and what has happened. If you look, like, it's so many different stories that we could get into.
She took it straight.
But
to
she
like
took
that not the regular bus that you get on for school. She took it to like the speed bus.
Yeah.
With Keanu and all them. You know what I'm saying? She was running through barriers
Word.
with her comments.
Word.
Come on, Sugar Meat.
That's somebody who knows, because that's, you know what I mean. She pew. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean that's it.
Must be some Brooklyn stuff in the house. That's all it is. There's some Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Some Brooklyn.
Funky fresh. You know what I'm talking about too. Brooklyn's in the house.
I saw a joint one time where the comedian said people from Brooklyn are everywhere. He was like, yo, astronauts be coming on the moon and somebody floating by talking about you know what I'm saying? I was like, Brooklyn people are everywhere, man.
Brooklyn,
like,
you find somebody from Brooklyn anywhere, bro.
Anywhere. We from Brooklyn.
Yep.
You can almost look, if they got some dope wallabies on, it's a good chance they
Man,
come up there.
You can see it, man. I listen, bro. Brooklyn people are so. I done met Brooklyn people in cowboy boots.
What?
Straight up.
Brooklyn got that. Whatever the style is, Brooklyn gonna have.
They got it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn is one of those cities, those boroughs of the city that's just so unique, man. Right. One of my favorite boroughs, man. But you know, some of the dopest MCs came out of Brooklyn too.
Oh yeah.
You know, and still are. You know what I mean? You know, Sean P. Straight out of Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So, but now, man, you know, it's a lot. True, you're right. So many young people, the horror stories that you hear about what they went through, just following their dream.
Yeah.
You just trying to follow your dream, and somebody takes advantage of you. They see a opening. You know, we ain't reading the contracts. You know, we ain't seeing them words perpetuity. You know what I'm saying? When you sign a joint, man, and it says, oh, well, yeah, man, we gonna give you this, but we own you, man. Mm-hmm. Everything you make from here on out, you can't put out nothing without us getting a cut. And then whatever's left on the shelf or whatever you was working on, it gets put as what? Intellectual property. So the business side of things is what's important. Like Tamika, shout out to Tamika once again, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for getting in the bus with us. Shout out to Quantum Q and everybody that's listening. Live.Wire 804 Facebook, Live.Wire 804 Instagram, and LWR 80401. That's the YouTube. Get in the bus with us. Let's talk about it. Gen X perspective. You know what I'm saying? What changed after the, that's what I'm saying, like what changed, after the second generation?
So, Tamika has a comment. She said artists don't need the record deals off top anymore.
No, they don't.
They don't need them.
No, they don't need them.
That's a fact. And
You can now with the right direction and the information. The thing here is game. We got something else.
Yep. Quantum Q said, "What can the OGs offer the new artists?"
The knowledge, the game. That's what game is. Knowledge, the game.
That's right.
That's it. That's what they can offer them. But you got.
Will they listen?
But exactly.
That's the question.
You got niggas like Max B talking about Kane is this and that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what the respect?
But look, I run through a lot of artists. B. Mumford does as well. That when they come in, you see they don't know, and you try to give them the blueprint. They be like, "Oh yeah, I know." There's nothing worse than a I know person, because the I know person knows nothing. No cup has been emptied. He's not flowing.
But it said,
like
"Wise
water.
man knows he knows nothing at all."
At all. That's right. So you got to be water, my friend. And when you're right, when you come in and somebody give you the game, and you be like, "Oh, I know that." Well, why you ain't doing it?
Why you here?
Why are you here? Exactly. Why didn't you do this if you already know? Why
Right.
am I telling you?
Right.
So, I feel you. Are they willing to absorb what you give them?
Right.
That is the question. It's not even a matter of what the OG. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I just got all in your.
No, this is what we could. No, you in the bus, man. You on the bus. You in the car. Well,
True,
the bus.
but it's not a matter
You know
of
what I
what the OGs can do to help the younger ones, because the OGs are showing by example all the time. They giving you the blueprint through their own action. So there's not a lot that the OGs can do for the young people. It's up to the young people to continuously watch how the OGs move and evolve through that movement to a brand new situation.
Right.
A whole different precipice.
Right.
You feel me? And that way they have created a new something that's not the crab in the barrel 1-2 step type thing.
Right.
All because they said, "I don't know, show me."
Yeah. And yeah, right. I mean, you just cut yourself off from so much success.
True.
By being a know-it-all,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know nothing. So I mean, that's the first thing. And you got to have another thing, discipline, because I really feel like that's where the whole thing with this thing is where it got off track too.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah.
You got to have some discipline. As an artist.
Right.
You got to put your time, your energy, and effort. Whatever you got to practice.
You gotta work.
You got to work.
You don't just walk in being an MC, and that's where the misled are going.
Right, like your story, for instance, Bully. Like, for just a second, man, just tell your story, man. Like, and I heard you say it before, but it's interesting to me, right, to see where you are right now. Shout out to Bully Boy. Give him a round of applause, please. This is my producer. This is my engineer.
I want to know what story you want me to tell.
Go over it. Pick one.
No, so the story I want you to tell. No, I'm about to ask you. I've heard you tell the story, but I want people to understand what the process, right, real quick. Bully, you started out, you told me about when you wanted to get into music, right?
Yeah.
A lot of you were trying to make your own music.
Right.
All right, now go from there. The nights that you stood up, the time you spent on the computer.
Literally, my issue was, I couldn't find people that were either making the beats or had time for studio time. So the main thing was trying to find time for studio time, because you could always find YouTube and just use one. The old way that don't work and ain't right. But, at the time I could find beats there because I knew no better. But I couldn't find recording time, and I couldn't find people who would record right, or I couldn't find people who really cared about what they were doing. So I started doing myself. I started learning it myself, and I started learning it from YouTube.
Right.
And I was using like Sony Vegas Pro or something like that.
Hold on, stop right there. Don't lose that thought. You say you was starting with Sony what?
Vegas
All
Pro.
right, Sony Vegas Pro. But one thing I want to note, technology. See how technology changed the way we work? Because of technology, he went online. Back then we couldn't go online. But anyway,
Yeah, I started with that and just kept working, and I would get off of work and be home by 5, be able to kiss the babies a little bit and everything. By
Right.
6:37, I was on my computer watching and mimicking, and I would literally get off of that chair, go get in the shower, go to work, come home, repeat. I was working on 2, maybe 4 hours sleep in about every 3 or 4 days. I was up grinding. I was coming home, getting at it, and going back to work.
right.
So I did this for an entire summer.
Wow.
I was exhausted, bro.
Wow.
But I did it. By the time I came out, I was able to do things that made people say, hey, let me show you this.
Right.
And when they said, let me show you this, I never knew how to do a thing, even what I knew how to do.
Right.
I didn't know nothing. Show me something.
Right.
You know, and they
Right.
would show me. So everything that I do are bits and pieces of other people who were willing to pour into me, but me willing to accept what they pour.
Right.
Wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? shout out to Rich. Shout out to my mentor, Richard Waller.
Yes.
Walcom Recordings, Walcom Music. He does it all. Salute. But when Rich started getting with me, that was the first time that reality set in. You know what I'm saying? Because Rich has no filter, and it's like, did I tell you to do that shit?
Right.
I told you to. This is what I told you to do.
Right.
But it worked for him.
Right.
I adapted it to work for me.
Right.
And it just went on from there. But then then you have people that you learn from, like Spade Haynes. You have people that you watch and mimic their vocals, like Big Sty.
Right.
Like, back in the day, Lonnie B used to be killing it.
Right.
The whole Super Friends team.
Right. I remember
You know
that.
what
I
I'm
remember
saying?
that. Yeah.
Hey, you mimic them and you build yourself around them, and that's exactly
And that's what
I
we
did.
right, and that's what we're talking about. That lane, you respected that lane. You respected your,
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
and still respect them to this very day.
Right.
There's nothing you can say wrong about any of those people. And I'll tell you the truth, if you did say something to me wrong, not only am I going to chop it up with you about it, but I'm going to tell them that you said something wrong. Because one thing I'm going to always be is my brother's keeper.
Right.
And that's what hip-hop also teaches you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here on Barz Block, Live Wire Radio. That was my man Bully Boy in the building, like a chilled wind with my man B. Mumford. You hear how I said that,
You
right?
said that. You got
He got technical.
I mean, he broke that thing down by the syllable.
Yeah. But anyway, man, let's get into this next joint, man. Bueno Fuego. Did I say that right?
Bueno Fuego.
You know what I'm saying? This is by my man, no other than my man. I got a joint with my man, JD Hayes. Shout out to my man, JD Hayes and Rosie Love, right here on Live Wire Radio.
Buena, buen fuego. Ya tú sabes. ¿Qué? Fuego.
What up, y'all? We about to, wind down, man. The bus, we done spun the block, man. You know what I mean? We coming back around now. So, everybody, we'd like to thank you for tuning in today on the social media platforms. And if you didn't catch it, then you can go back and catch it because it'll be there on LWR 80401. That's the YouTube. It'll be there for you. Go back and check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? Check out the ride today. The ride around Barz Block, man. We had a nice ride. You know what I'm saying? And, we talked about the Gen X perspective on things. Just about the hip hop, what changed in it as far as the respect thing for the elders, the ageism, that whole thing with ageism and just how the industry they don't they don't value talent anymore. It's not about talent. It's about a paycheck, the trendy thing, what's new. Like Bully said, the 1-2 step thing. What everybody else is doing, the crabs in the barrel. Nobody's being innovative, authentic, and original. Everybody just doing what sells because that's what and that's how you can tell because that's what the industry want. That's what they want. That's how you can really tell. The industry's like we're not selling that, But yeah, man. Thank everybody for tuning in, man. Like I said, it's been a dope ride. Like I said, we played some some blind girl beat today. By on a Lord's Grand CD, produced by Spade. Be Ourself. Of course, we played. Yours truly. You know what I mean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. You know what I mean. So enjoy yourself, man. Be loving, be kind and caring, and be encouraging, man. This is a rough world, it's a dark world we live in. Be the light, because love is the light. You know what I mean? So, just we about to wind down. We coming around. We coming around, and we about to wind this thing down, man. So, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, if you didn't catch it, you can catch it. You can go back and catch it on the social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? Live.wire 804, that's the Facebook. Just put in Live Wire Radio on the Facebook or Instagram. We'll pop right up. You know what I'm saying? At LWR 80401 on the Facebook. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting in the bus with us. We appreciate you. Be encouraging, be kind, and loving, man. We live in a dark world, y'all. Be the light in it. You know what I'm saying? Let's love, let's live and let live. You know what I'm saying? And remember, man, that it's always better to be on the right side of things than the wrong side of things in the eyesight of God. But anyway, I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man, today, man. I love y'all. Thank you once again. I'm your man, Boss Nice the General on Barz Block. Peace and love.